I've only gone and done it again. Welcome back to the channel, all you watch heroes and nerds, and today, well, I've done a bad thing. My run of lusting after vintage watches has continued, and today a watch I had bought has finally arrived. Unfortunately, it's left one of my favourite watches almost redundant in my collection. I'll talk more about that later. So I'll stop tickling your interest and pique it instead by showing you my proverbial goods. It's a grail watch of mine, the absolutely undeniably good and timeless Submariner. But it's maybe not the Submariner you were expecting. It's the Tudor Submariner 7016, and this beauty of a watch dates back to 1967. It is pre-snowflake versions, and it is most like the classic Submariner, and yeah, this watch is absolutely gorgeous and a perfect tool watch. So let's take a closer look at this watch and find out if it is a winner or a binner. Good God, please make it a winner. Okay, so this is the classic Submariner, so I think most of you will be aware of the measurements here. They are the universally well-wearing 40mm in diameter. Well, I have it at 39.5mm on my calipers and 41.9mm including the crown. Lug to lug we have 44.9mm and 20mm at the lugs. This particular model no longer has a bracelet. This is pretty common with older Tudor Submariners, in particular due to them being used more by the military. But the bracelet would have been a jangly affair of folded links, just like on my Rolex 6694 Precision, the bracelet of which I do actually still own, but don't really wear that much. Other than that, this watch has 200 meters of water resistance, although I haven't had someone replace the gaskets and pressure test it yet, a screw down crown and a screw-in case back. Double domed acrylic crystal and tritium lume, although obviously that burnt out yonks ago. We have a friction bi-directional bezel with an aluminium bezel insert, and again we have burnt out lume pips at the 12 on top of the bezel too. Finally, this bad boy is powered by the legendary venerable ETA 2483. Now, not only is this an automatic movement, it hand winds. Unfortunately though, it doesn't hack, which of course is par for the course for watches this old. This also is the classic no date sub, so hacking is actually less important than it would be on other watches, like my Rolex 6694. Otherwise, it beats at 18,800 vibrations per hour, but the seller did service it properly prior to being delivered, just the movement though, nothing else on the watch, and it was coming in at plus or minus 2 seconds per day. Not bad for a watch from the swinging 60s. Now, I have a feeling that this watch was one of the many Tudor Submariners at the time that were issued to the military. I'm unsure, I'm not 100% which military. I know Tudor watches were supplied to the French, but I'm pretty sure that was only after the snowflake dials came in. But I also believe the Americans had Tudors too. Now, if I remember correctly, and in all honesty, I may bloody well not be, the Tudor Submariners were regularly marked with serial numbers by the American military, and this one seems to have one. So I think this watch was an actual military issue. And if it is, I like that. Now, I've been playing around with straps, and recently I've been given these soooo diver straps from the team at Watch Gecko to look at and review for an upcoming video with them. So I've actually stuck it on one of these, and you know what, I really like it. But I've also been putting it on soooo, nylon, leather, rubber, on a bracelet as well. Well, I don't have a bracelet, but I'm going to get a bracelet for it too. So I think it's something that you'll see a bit of a fashion show for, and you probably have seen throughout this video me trying it on different straps as well. And the reason why I can't quite land on what to wear it on isn't because each one doesn't wear well. This watch actually wears too well, incredibly well. The downturn from the lugs, the fact that it's the perfect proportions, means that every single strap looks good on it, and I can't settle on one, which is frustrating because I need to find its forever strap. At least in my opinion, it needs to have a forever strap. The markers on this dial have aged well. It's slightly creamed patina. The bezel has a bit of action, and as is the case, is still remarkably in good nick for what it is. I really like this, you know. The bezel is probably the one thing that needs a little bit of attention, but even that is only slight. What can I say? This watch does make me very happy. Okay, so it's time to address the elephant in the room, which is, of course, my Black Bay 54. Look, I love the Black Bay 54. It's always been a mini grail watch of mine, but I had the opportunity to grab this Submariner, and that is a full grail of mine, and I really couldn't say no. But does it leave me with a problem? I think it does, and I need your advice. So here's the problem. Generally speaking, I only do one watch from one brand in my collection at a time, with the exception, of course, of Casio's. Now, having both a Black Bay 54 and a Submariner in my collection means that I'm not only breaking that rule, but I'm breaking that rule with a lot of extra money on the table. I do like to use my watches too, so my question is, do I keep the Black Bay 54 or do I sell it and get something else to have for the holidays so that I can get a watch properly wet? I do want to get this watch wet at some point. I do need to get the gaskets changed and to get everything kind of pressure tested. However, do I also get a Seiko as well for things like holidays? You know what? Getting a Submariner, having that, and then having a Seiko dive watch, I don't think that's a bad idea, you know. Let me know in the comments below what you think. Whatever I'll do, before I let this watch go or not, I will do a comparison for modern and vintage Tudor dive watches. So keep tuned for that, because I think you'll really get a kick out of it. If you like the style of this video, then you have good taste, my man. So why don't you just tickle the like button and tell it you think it's special? If you would like to get your hands on a Black Bay 54 or any of the Black Bays from the range, click on the link in the description below to go to the Jura Watches website. They are an authorised dealer of Tudor watches and loads of other brands. I've used them in the past and have never had an issue. I'll also leave some links to Tudor Submariner listings that I find on eBay, but bear in mind they all come from different decades, from the 60s to the 90s, all in various conditions. But otherwise, yeah. See you in the next one, watch nerds.